Join me in welcoming one of the greatest Cowboys of all time, our speaker today. Welcome, Randy White. All right. Here we go. I'll get you that chair right there. Okay, thank you. I could have gone on for several minutes reading your accolades. I thought it might be a little better just to hear some of the stuff from you, but welcome to you. Welcome to Waco.
Well, I mean, you read it really good the way I wrote it down.
That's right, just like you wrote it. Welcome to you. We're glad you're here. I thought you would put the jacket on when you came up here, but you didn't.
Well, I was going to, but it would have taken me 5 minutes, and I would have been wrestling with that jacket.
So you'll know, he has his gold Hall of Fame jacket with him today, which is pretty cool. And you're leaving here, and you're going back to Dallas and then flying to Canton.
Yeah, I'm going to the airport from here, and then I'm flying to Cleveland, and then driving to Canton, and going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame tomorrow for a couple days. That's always exciting. I have a grandson that's 14 years old that plays football, and that's a big time for him right now. So he's not going to make the trip, so I'm going to try and hurry up and get back home so I can go to his stuff, because I've been to the Hall of Fame. It's a great honor and all that, but I'd rather watch my grandson play football. I promise you.
That's great. That's very cool. What's that experience like when you go back as a Hall of Famer, when you're around all those other guys? What's that like?
It's a very humbling experience. And I mean that genuinely. It is. It's a humbling experience. Because when you grow up there, for me, like when I was growing up, Ray Nitschke, who played for the Green Bay Packers. I know that's a bad word here, but I would always look at Ray Nitschke, right? He had no teeth and the big round glasses, kind of like what I got on. Yeah. And what was that question? You got me off. You got me sidetracked.
No, you're right on track. Just being around all those Hall of Famers when you're up there Hall of Fame weekend.
Oh, it's humbling. I mean, it's so humbling, because when you go in that room that has all those busts, Ray Nitschke, Dick Butkus, Roger Staubach, I mean, guys that you grew up worshiping, and following and trying to be like, and now your little bust is on the same thing with them. It's a very humbling experience. But to get to see, like, I haven't seen Dan Hampton, who played with the Bears. Yeah. And we talk to each other on the phone periodically just to stay in touch, along with Joe Klecko, who played with the Jets. And, Bob Lilly called me the other day, and I haven't gotten back to him whether I was going to be up there or not. So, it's like a meeting. I was with Mel Renfro in Chicago last week, and he said, "Randy, are you coming?" Everybody likes to get together, up there. And it's really neat when you can get together with your teammates and guys that I used to hate, or I thought I hated them. Now I wish they were my teammates, right? I mean, they're just good guys and great people, and I really enjoy it when I have the opportunity to go back there.
That's really cool. Pretty good name dropping there. When you can drop Bob Lilly, Mel Renfro, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's good company.
Couple good ones. Roger Staubach,
Roger Staubach, that's
Tony
great
Dorsett,
company.
Ed Too Tall Jones, Harvey Martin. Where you want me to stop?
Those are the Cowboys. Those are the Cowboys.
You want to start another subject? I think they should be in the Hall of Fame with me and in that Ring of Honor up there in Texas Stadium.
Do you politic for them?
I always do. I always say that wherever I go. I mean, because I believe it. They were my teammates, and they were great players, and
Hall of Fame worthy for sure. You grew up in Delaware. How'd you end up in Maryland? What was that recruiting process like?
Well, I was from a little coal mining town up in the Appalachian Mountains, a little town called Pine Grove up in Pennsylvania. Okay. My dad came home from the service. They moved to Pittsburgh. See, a lot of these Steeler guys, they beat us in 2 Super Bowls, right? So I got to put up with that. But they don't realize I was born in Pittsburgh. I was born in Pittsburgh, and What was the question?
Yeah.
And you got me jumping around here.
No, just run with it. How'd you end up at the University of Maryland? Who else recruited you?
You know, when I went to Maryland, I had Virginia Tech, Arizona State, and Maryland were the three teams. And Maryland was where I grew up in Delaware. That's where I grew up. It was an hour-and-a-half drive to get to the University of Maryland. So I figured I chose Maryland because my mom and dad could come to the games. You know, my dad liked to go to the games, so did my mom. You know, I got a whole pocket full of stories I can tell about them at games. That's more exciting than what I did at games, I'll promise you. Any of y'all seen your mom get in a fist fight at a football game? They told me, I didn't see it, right? My mom was a very vocal lady, you know, little chubby fat lady, and she didn't hold back. And she was rooting for her Cowboys. And so was my sister up there in Philadelphia Stadium. Well, a guy dumped a beer on my sister's head. Well, my brother, he's the fighter, that guy. We should have him here. He drilled this guy, they said, and knocked him down between the things. Well, my mom always carried a blackjack. And this lady was on top of this guy beating him with a jack, and then this is in Philadelphia, right? And they pulled my mom off of this guy, drug him out, the police did, and they cheered my mom in Philadelphia. Now, that's a pretty good deal. And that's a true story. I got another one. I'm in the locker room, right? And they had a place in New York where the family was, right? They go, Remy, your family's out there fighting again. I said, again? Come on, man. So I go out there and this guy laying flat on his back, knocked out, colder than a cucumber. Well, I found out what happened. He went after Golden Richards, our wide receiver, who had caught a touchdown pass at the end of the game to beat the point spread. You know, this is how crazy some of them fans are. And, well, when my brother saw him going against Golden Richards, my brother decked him and knocked him into my sister and knocked my sister down. Well, all my dad saw was him knocking my sister down, and he clocked the guy, and that was the end of the story. So anyway, anytime we travel back east, it was always, you know, I have focus on the game, but I get at least 20 tickets of guys I knew from back home in Washington, Philadelphia, New York. And I get state police that were friends of mine that I'd grown up with. My first Little League football coach, Mr. Schuler, was the head of the Delaware State Police. So anyway, I had Drew Pearson. Drew would always come to me when we'd away games. He said, Randy, can my family sit with your family? And we would always get him tickets with my family. So anyway, y'all didn't come here and listen to this.
Oh, that's great. Are you kidding? That's great. I won't ask you where you got your tenacity and athletic ability from. I think we know.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I think we know that. All right, here's a good question for you. You talk about Philadelphia. Who would you consider the Cowboys' biggest rival, or when you were playing? Redskins, Eagles, Steelers? Who would you say?
You know, the NFC East was all, because we were always playing for, you know, who was going to win the NFC, or who was going to be the NFC champion and move on. So, you know, Washington, Philadelphia, New York. You know, I tell you, you like to hear the stories? I was up in Chicago the other day doing a signing deal, and Phil Simms comes up, you know, and Phil Simms, we had some pretty good battles, right? He got a scar on his chin where I popped him with my helmet. He got like 20 stitches on his chin, right? Well, I started telling the story. I hit him one time, and he's down on the ground, and he's holding a leg and going, ah. And I went by him. I said, "Shut up, you big sissy." We got some referees here. I'm not admitting to anything else. And I turned around. I was walking back to the huddle, and all of a sudden I feel this boom on my head. And I turned around, and Sims had gotten up, taken a football, and whacked me in the head with it. And I said, "Now I like you more than I did before, Sims." But that's the kind of stuff that goes on during the game that, you're watching on television, you don't see all that. And those are the guys that, you like the most when you see them at these different functions.
Yeah, that's great. So you didn't answer the question. Who would you consider your biggest rival?
Oh, you asked me a question?
There was a question there. We'll circle back around to it, okay? And Ricky Thompson is back there. He's our resident Redskin. So, was it Redskins? Was it?
You know what? They
you
were
didn't
all,
like them all. You didn't like
the
any
NFC East. I didn't like any of them. I didn't like anybody I ever played against. A team, player, coach, any of them. I never liked any of them. But if I had to pick one, Philadelphia. Okay. Yeah, because I grew up 30 minutes down the road. But them fans are the rudest, rowdiest. They had a prison. Not a prison, but a jailhouse in the stadium, and they'd lock these people up as they got in trouble, right? And I grew up down there. Well, you wonder why I was the way I was? Well, this was my role models, right? But Philadelphia, I would never got the most satisfaction that I ever got is when the stadium was quiet, because that meant we were kicking their butts. I mean, that, and I still don't like Philadelphia today, I'll be honest with you. I mean, Washington, New York, when I was playing against them, we didn't like them. I didn't like Riggins, and I did a show in Vegas with Riggins for about 3 years. And the first show, I'm figuring, geez, I spit on this guy, I stepped on him, I put my fist in his throat, I've called him names. And we had a couple iced teas, and I figured, okay, sooner or later it's going to come. And here it comes. Riggins goes, "Randy, I didn't think I'm going to like you, but I like you." I said, "We'd have been great teammates, Riggins." So the guys that that you don't think when you're playing against, they're some of the greatest guys you ever want to meet.
That's terrific. So you came out and you were first-round draft pick, number 2 pick overall. Didn't you think that Baltimore was going to take you number 1 overall, but then they made a trade and you were available for the Cowboys at number 2?
Yeah, I mean, Baltimore, they kept it 30 minutes from University of Maryland, and they kept coming down there saying, "We're going to draft you number 1. We're going to draft you number 1." And I'm not believing that I'm even going to get drafted, but these guys say they're drafting me number 1. And at the last minute, it would have been 30 minutes from my school and an hour from where I grew up if I played in Baltimore. I get drafted by the Dallas Cowboys because they traded Craig Morton to the Giants and got that number 1 pick, a second guy pick in the draft. And they used that to take me. So that's how I ended up in Dallas. So, I come to Dallas, Texas. Oh, you want me to go ahead?
No, go ahead.
No. I mean, I come to Dallas, Texas. I've never been anywhere, right? Unless it's been with a football team. And I think I'm going to see dust balls and guys with horses. Like Denver Burton's son, I thought that everybody be dressed like a cowboy, And I got down there, I saw all these coats and ties and stuff, and anyway, I was glad I got drafted. I was glad I got drafted by the Cowboys.
Folks who've been fans a long time, you remember that draft. The rookie class that year was referred to as the Dirty Dozen. I mean, it was a great group. And Burton Lawless is right here, lives in Waco. Yeah. Burton was a part of that group. Burton, we appreciate you.
Well, and the thing that a lot of people don't know, is that we had the 12 rookies make the team. Well, Burton was the only rookie. We played in the Super Bowl 10. We played the Pittsburgh Steelers in Super Bowl 10, and Burton was the only guy out of the 12 of us that started. Burton started right over here, Mr. Burton Lawless. And I don't know if y'all know Burton, but he's probably the nicest person you'll ever meet in your life. I mean, he is one of the, and during the game, he's playing against Joe, Mean Joe Green. And I looked over at him, and his sweat coming off his face, and he's mean. He says, "I'm gonna bop that Joe Green." I said, "Well, Joe Green better look out if Burton's gonna bop him." That's about the worst words I ever heard him say. And then we leave the game. And we're walking out, and the buses are all full. So I tell Burton, the PR guy said, "You and Burton go with the police escort car." So we go up to the car, some guy, long hair and a beard in the back seat. I tell Burton, I said, "Burton, you sit back there with that hippie guy." And I just went and sat in the front seat, right? We're riding down the road a couple, not very far. This guy taps me on the shoulder. He goes, "Hey, Randy," he says, "I'm Willie Nelson. I'm a big fan of yours." I go, "Randy, you idiot, you did it again." And one of the thrills, even though we lost that game, that night they had this humdrum band up there playing, right? And everybody was moping around, and Jimmy Buffett was there, Jerry Jeff was there, Whalen was there, and Willie was there. And Jimmy Buffett got up there, "Barmaid, bring a pitcher." Well, the party was on. And one of my biggest thrills ever, Bob Brunick played the guitar. And we got up on stage and sang "Up Against the Wall, Redneck Mother" with Willie Nelson. That was one of my biggest thrills of my life.
Oh, man, that is great.
Am I answering these questions?
Yeah, heck yeah. You don't need me. You just run with it.
Yeah, I do. I don't know what I'm saying.
You're doing great. Where did the nickname the Manster come from? Who tagged you with that?
Actually, we had a linebacker, a guy named Dave Edwards, number 52, and off the field, I was a nice guy, right? I mean, here I go patting myself on the back. I shouldn't, but I was a nice guy. I mean, I'm nice to people. I treat people right. But on the field, I was the worst person you ever want to meet. So he goes, "You're a manster, half man, half monster." Well, Charlie Waters heard it, our defensive back. Well, now he tells the media. Now they got me wearing Sasquatch clothes and outfits with my helmet on. The Manster. And I still get, Burton calls me, when he calls me up, he says, "Hey, Manster." They call me a couple other ones, but I'm not saying they here now. They'd be good ones, but.
You started out at linebacker and kind of rocking along, but that move to defensive tackle, following Bob Lilly really at that spot, defensive tackle, that was the move that really made it a Hall of Fame career for you, wasn't it?
Well, the flex defense was different. If we'd have played a conventional 4-3 defense, I would have been able to play that middle linebacker spot. But on the flex, you had a lot of keys. And, I hadn't played that kind of football. And Bob Brunick was perfect for that. He stepped right in there and did a great job. So really, at that point in time, when Coach Landry, we got Harvey Martin at the end, we got Ed Too Tall Jones over here, we got Jethro Pugh over here. If I don't make it at this tackle spot, where am I going? So I was really kind of in a panic. I mean, I really mean that. And, and I didn't get to meet Bob until after I was in the league, like 3, 4, 5 years. And Ernie Stautner, my coach, Ernie You know, he wasn't just my coach, he was my friend, but he worked me to the bone every day after practice till I got all the keys and everything for that defensive line spot. And then, you know, you can't think and play football. The coach was here, he could tell you that. You have to think, you have to be intelligent. Repetition is the key to learning. You have to do all those things. But then when you get on the football field, you have to go into the zone. You don't think. Your preparation's got to be all finished, all done, and you just react. And that was one of my secrets that people say. I tell them when they ask me, you know, what do you think? I said, look, you beat them with your mind. You know, we can physically do as much weight. You can run as fast as me, but you're not going to beat me mentally. I'm going to outthink you. I'm going to out-prepare you. If I see somebody do 5 reps on a thing, I'm going to do 6. You know, you just build that mentality up and let it go and see what happens.
There's a terrific play that's out there. You can find the video. You're playing the Eagles, and a guy named Scott Fitzke was a receiver, and he catches a pass. You're on the line, but you pick it up from there. You chased him down and made the tackle, didn't you?
Well, it was a max blitz, so my job was to hit my guard and check the back. If he went out, I had to cover him. Well, they threw the ball to Scott Fitzke. Well, I didn't know. I just was on cruise, right? I just turned around and started running, and this guy ran a 9.600 or something in college. He could run, but I don't know. I got in the wrong medicines that day, the wrong vitamin or something. But I caught him from behind. You know, that's one of them things where you don't think about it. It just happens. And now I watch it and I go, "What were you doing, Randy? I mean, everybody else stopped. What are you still running for?" But that's mental preparation. You do that with your mind. You do that in practice. You chase plays across the field and just touch the guy. Then when you get in the game, you just do that. And that's how you make big plays. You watch a football game, a lot of big plays are made by guys that are hustling. Hustle, hustle, hustle. And then you watch other teams, I watch them, and if they're not at the point of attack, you know, they just kind of cruise along and get over there. They wouldn't play for me. So go ahead, ask me another question. I'm getting in trouble now.
This will be the final question. Your entire career with Dallas, you played for Coach Landry.
Yes, sir.
And 88 was your last year. Things have changed since then. But Tom Landry, I know, is someone that you have tremendous respect for.
Coach Landry was, you know, I've talked more to y'all today than I did to him in 14 years. True story. But people ask you, well, what's Coach Landry? Was he really what we hear he was? And I can tell you one story that, to me, the night before we played the Denver Broncos, the year after we beat them in the Super Bowl 12, the defense was getting introduced. Well, my dad died the night before the game. And I told Bob Brunick, who was my roommate, I said, "Bob," I said, "just keep that to yourself. We'll talk about it after the game." So he must have gone and told Coach Landry, because when I got introduced, I shook Coach Landry's hand, and he had tears in his eyes. And I got tears in my eyes. And he said, "Randy, you stay as long as you need with your family." And that right there was what Tom Landry was, because he would always tell us it should be God, family, and then football or whatever else you want to come. And another thing, I don't know, you know, these things pop up in your, I don't know, my spiritual life has popped up, you know, and, you know, be ye angry and sin not. Now, I used to get in a fight every day. I was mad at somebody. If I wasn't, I was looking for them. I was baiting them so they'd get mad back at me, so I'd have excuse. And then I thought about Coach Landry. I played for this man for 14 years. I seen him angry. I seen him upset. I never saw him lose his temper one time. Burton, did you ever see him lose his temper? Not one time did he lose his temper. And then I started thinking, how does he do that? He beats them with his mind. He already knows the counter to what this person's going to do to him. He already knows it, what he's going to do next. And that's, and if I thought about it, I say, the anger part and the fighting part, that's where my comfort zone was. I felt better there than I did thinking, But the more that you think and you prepare yourself mentally, that's how you win. That's how you beat them, not just physically, but mentally. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but...
That's very good. That's a great way to wrap it up. We appreciate you being here. You got a lot of fans here in Waco. Cowboys have a lot of fans here in Waco.
And I appreciate all the people and the Cowboy fans back when I was there, before me, and now we're going to get this group this year. And, people ask me, what are the Cowboys going to do this year, Randy? Well, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I always tell them what Jerry does. We're going to the Super Bowl. So... And they got just as good a chance as everybody else till it doesn't, right? Y'all have a great day. Thank you for having me, and I enjoyed it.
Randy White, one of a kind. Great job. Thank you very much.
Right,
That's terrific.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll set that right there.